From the St. Mart Center in Fresno, California, as Anthony Holland for Fresno State gets fouled on the way to the basket. Big Mountain West matchup. Teams 5 and 6 in the league. 5th place Fresno State, 6th place and a half game back UNLV. With Coach Sidney Johnson, Chris Lewis here with you, and the star power in this game certainly palpable. Orlando Robinson on the Fresno State side, the big center at 7 feet, and then the conference's leading scorer for UNLV on Bryce Hamilton.
Love it. Tickled to death to see these two go at it. Robinson, arguably the best center in the conference. Easily the best center in the conference. And then Hamilton is putting together, I think, an all-American type season. Wonderful scoring guard for the running Rebels.
So those are the starting lineups in this game. We talked about Orlando Robinson. For Fresno State, Isaiah Hill playing good ball over the last 7 games, 14 in contest. Holland at the free throw line makes both. And Fresno State on the board with a 4-zip lead. Almost 2 minutes in.
I know it's the Bulldogs, but I want to see them be the junkyard Bulldogs, Fresno State, in terms of picking up full court, harassing. I think they're at their best when they do that, Chris.
The second best scoring defense, the top 5 scoring defense in the nation, behind only San Diego State in the conference. Here's Hamilton going to work. Late shot clock denied.
Good extra help, though. Help defender in his way.
Gilbert delivers late. Nuga gets it off, or doesn't. The shot goes. They let him release it, and a quick check at the scorer's table.
Seems like a little bit of a confusion there, but Nuga is one who makes shots at the end of the shot clock. Poise there, and no, it doesn't even look close, does it?
Nope. They will review it. Shouldn't take long.
I would hope not. But an extra timeout here. Both coaches can kind of settle their guys and refresh in terms of the scouting report. You know there's going to be a lot of touches for Orlando Robinson down at one end, play inside out. And then as we've seen already, Hamilton doing his work from the top of the key.
Mentioned refreshing the scouting report. So Kevin Kruger leading the way for UNLV. Justin Hudson as that defense here at Fresno State. Bulldogs coming in off of a loss to Colorado State. In fact, they've dropped back-to-back games for the first time all year. Last time they were home, a close loss to Wyoming. Hill connected with Robinson for the first basket, and as well on the second field goal here tonight.
Robinson doing an excellent job of ball screening and diving. Sometimes he pops out, and I think he lets the defense get off the hook. They are diving to the basket. They're looking to find him. Free throws or layups all day if they play through Robinson.
The playmaker, Jordan McCabe. This is Hamilton, fall away. Tough look, and Hill gobbles in the rebound for the Bulldogs.
Outstanding team defense from Fresno State now against Bryce Hamilton. Every time he's put it on the deck, there's been an extra help defender.
Fresno State said that ball was tipped. The officials disagree. UNLV possession. Mountain West standings, Wyoming, Boise State, Colorado State right now making up the top tier. But at stake here, that 5th place spot, which is big. The top 5 teams in the Mountain West get the bye in the conference tournament. Right now, Fresno State in that position. But if UNLV gets the win here, they would flip to that 5th spot.
In February and March, some of the biggest games of the season, and in a league that has so many good NCAA-worthy teams, it's only going to get tighter and tighter down the stretch.
About 3 weeks left until the conference tournament in Las Vegas. Fresno State's defense suffering so far, no surprise.
Running Rebs, ice cold right now. There's the pop-up 5-out offense for Orlando Robinson. Boy, is he good.
Altered that time. Ham on the interior made it tough.
Even his ability at 7 feet to get to that spot. Outstanding footwork and handle.
Jordan McCabe gets UNLV on the board.
Running Rebels have been shooting the basketball much better as the season has progressed. That's got to be comforting for Kruger to see the ball go in early from 3 in one of his role players.
See that battle in the post. Robinson gets it. Double comes. Too strong, but short on the hook shot. Nuga slices and scores.
He is so active. I mean, when he decides to do something, whether it's getting to the basket or shooting the ball with confidence, he's been a nice shot in the arm. I spent some time talking to Carlin Hartman, the wonderful assistant for UNLV. They say he's one of their highest energy guys. That's Snuga there, getting the rebound.
As the utility player amongst the hardest workers, hits the floor hard. They'll head to the free throw line. Fresno State off to the good start. UNLV scored the game's last 5. For those watching on CBSSports.com, our streaming coverage will conclude after the commercial break. We will continue on CBS Sports Network. Early at the Save Mart Center, Fresno State 6-5 lead over UNLV. With former Princeton coach Sidney Johnson, Chris Lewis here with you. And the stars are out in a Mountain West that has a lot of star power this season. But Bryce Hamilton's the leading scorer in the Mountain West this season for UNLV. And perhaps the league's best prospect is Orlando Robinson for Fresno State.
Yeah, Hamilton and Robinson sounds like a law firm, but in actuality, they are two of the best players in the league and arguably the best players at their respective positions. This matchup is not going to disappoint, Chris.
So when you have players that are this talented, the keys become that much more important.
Without a doubt. UNLV certainly wants to play through Hamilton, and Fresno State knows the same thing. Feed the big dog in terms of Robinson. If you look at UNLV, Bryce and the Miracles, different guys have had to step up, but he's a rare player in the college game that comes close to winning a game by himself. And then, of course, they need to hit the offensive boards. They are the second best team in offensive rebounding in the Mountain West. Feed the big dog, Orlando Robinson. Wow, is he something else? They're going to play inside out in terms of the Bulldogs. And then make sure that you press. Your defense has to extend. It helps the Bulldogs turn people over and creates offense for them to support the scoring that you want to get from Orlando Robinson.
Yeah, a lot of the Fresno State themes this season has been whether they can get that consistent shooting around the big man.
Right. Well, you know, he softens up the defense so much inside, draws so much attention that guys are going to get open looks, but you got to be able to knock them down. Here is a little bit of a Princeton set. Again, 5 out, and I love to see him ball screen and dive to the basket, just like this.
The roll to the rim. Tough runner in traffic. David Muwalka, who just came on for UNLV from the bench, is the one now matched up with the big 7-footer on the Bulldog side.
They're going to rotate different players on Robinson, give him different looks, and then, of course, try to dig down in the post, force him to pass it out.
Tough shot taker, tough shot maker, Bryce Hamilton. His first field goal is a 3.
He's got all the patented moves that you can ask for. Step back threes, Euro steps, spin move, shake you out of your shoes, and his floater game is for real. He is an electrifying scorer in Bryce Hamilton for the Running Rebs.
Mid-range for the 3-level scorer who's 7 feet tall. Tip back, Holland won't fall. Fresno State now scoreless over the last 3 minutes. Jordan McCabe has had handles for years, going back to when he was 5 years old, one of a handles child prodigy. Hamilton misses another 3-pointer.
He's gotten so much better. You know, he's testing the NBA pool to see where he would fall. I think he's the guy. Nice block shot there.
Called a goaltend.
People wonder, can Hamilton play at the next level? There is absolutely no question. He can take over ball games. At this level, he is hard to guard by one guy. You have to bring more than one defender in there, even Orlando Robinson on an island, because that step back 3 is lethal. You're like this pressure from the Bulldogs. They will run and jump. Sometimes they'll play it straight up. But the more aggressive they are, the more active their players are. They get themselves more involved, high energy, and often it leads to transition scores.
4th in the nation in scoring defense. What makes up that defense being so elite? Why is that the case?
Well, it comes from your head coach, number one. He sets the tone, and then I think he's got a really hard-playing roster of guys, interchangeable parts, and then they all funnel it to the basket. Orlando Robinson will meet you there and block the shot or certainly gobble up the rebound.
Robinson against Muwalka. Flicks it. Hill's triple, halfway down.
Hill has played really well. He's shooting the ball remarkably. well from the three-point line, gets to the cup. Those are ones that they need to knock down.
Everything but the finish from Hamilton. Viola clears the board. Two big lineup.
Nice extra.
Holland connects.
Coach Hudson has talked about Holland in terms of his shot selection. He wants him to take more shots. Imagine that when a head coach is telling you to shoot it more, but he leads the team in minutes played. He is such a glue guy, and they trust his three-point shooting, and there you see why.
And the efficiency there, nearly 50, 40, 90 numbers. His free throw percentage, 86%. This is the farthest away from those barriers, but you're right. Want him to get those shots up. Webster, no. Milwaukee, second chance for UNLV.
And there's those offensive rebounds. Fresno State has to hold UNLV to one shot.
McCabe creates space. Too long. And Ballard lassos it in. Fresno State used to this position right near the top four. They've had a top four finish in the conference in 4 of the past 6 years. But right now sitting just outside of that top two.
Fans at home shouldn't be surprised by the deliberate pace. Number one, it works. Wonderfully executed double screen there for Ballard coming off the baseline. But the Bulldogs play at one of the slowest paces in the country. But hey, 16 wins later, why fool with that?
They put up 66 points per game, only allow 58. Off movement, tough look for McCabe. Box out for Robinson. He's fouled over the back as David Milwaukee commits the personal. Fresno State up 6.
You see the ball movement there, nice extra from Holland, and they trust him to knock it down, and then they come right back with another one. UNLV has to find these shooters.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. By Road. Don't weaken. And by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, and secure.
Both Fresno State and UNLV have had some pretty high highs this year. They have faced each other, though, already this season. In meeting number 1, it was Fresno State's getting the win by 5. But Bryce Hamilton, Orlando Robinson are really the carriers of the offensive end for both of these teams, and both coming off of losses where the Stars didn't get much help.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, we know how good these two young men are, and they deliver time and time again, and that's why they're getting all the recognition. But it's a team game, and it will always be that. So when you see Holland and Ballard making shots before the break, you see how important that is for Fresno State. Well, that young man right there, Hamilton, he's going to do his business, but he needs some other guys to get involved to help him out and try to get a win on the road.
Is this one as simple as the Stars will do their thing? Whoever gets the most help, their team will be better off?
I think so, a little bit, Chris, but Bryce Hamilton is so good. I'm so psyched to see Donovan Williams coming into the game. He averages about 14 points per game overall, a little bit more in the Mountain West. But Bryce Hamilton can virtually win a game by himself. If Williams gets in the act, this is a dangerous team come Mountain West tournament time.
Just saw Donovan Williams. He's missed the last 3, 4 of the past 5 with an injury. Braxton Mia trying to carve out some space on the block, and Ham is stunned.
I got to get this off my chest, Chris. I was fortunate to be associate head coach at Air Force last season, and Braxton Mia played us, and he was an absolute terror. We haven't seen much production from him this season, but I think if he commits himself to the things he needs to do, he could very well fill a huge void that Orlando Robinson will leave at whatever point he decides to move on and continue his career at the professional level.
Mia with it here. He's listed 7'1". The staff said he's grown this season to at least 7'2". Shot clock late. Fresno State keeps it. Hill has to hurry. Gets it off and in.
Yeah, that one should count. I think the refs are falling in love with the monitor, but to me, that one looks like that was a good bucket, and Hill is Johnny on the spot. He's always made big shots for them. He's played so much better, more in control in terms of his leadership. And yeah, I think that was well before it zeroed out on the clock.
I like how you phrased it there, just falling in love with the monitor.
You got to call it like you see it. My eyes don't lie to me.
Well, Fresno State scored the game's first 6. UNLV responded with the next 8. And Fresno State has answered with 10 straight. Josh Baker handling the ball for the running Rebels.
It's taken UNLV some time to get into their sets, and that's where that full court pressure has helped Fresno State as well, but they need to play a little bit faster to give themselves time to loosen up the defense and also battle for those offensive rebounds. That's key for their approach.
Tough ball away, goes in and out. Rebound battled for Waco, can't haul it in. Instead, Fresno State digs it out.
Chris, we're seeing a whole lot of white jerseys. I have to feel like that was a point of emphasis in the film room with Coach Hudson and his guys in preparation for this game.
Mia fouled. Hook shot, count it. Mia's first bucket of the game. He'll head to the line.
I've been in a gym or two and can recognize talent every now and then, and I think that this kid has it, but he's got to apply himself, you know, and not be content to sit behind Orlando Robinson, but challenge him and push him and even get here out on the floor, because when he gets to that jump hook, there's really no one who can deal with it. His size, his footwork, his strength, he should be coming along at a good rate to help this program.
And completes the three-point play. And Braxton Mia was born in Layton, Utah, and moved to Fresno. Hamilton back in for UNLV, trying to get a scoring punch. With the running Rebels down 11, 19-8. Hamilton operates, gets a switch against Robinson. Ball poked loose by Hill.
Bulldogs are locked in the half-court defense. I'll tell you what. And they are making it really hard for UNLV. Nothing has come easy for them.
Isaiah Hill with a quick 6. Trail three-pointer. Royce Ham, a big who can shoot it. A much-needed 3.
Chris, he really wasn't on balance, but that is a huge shot. I would think that Kruger would have gone to a timeout if they missed that and gave up a bucket at this end. They are chasing this game, not a position they want to be in early.
He did have his foot on the line. It's a 2-pointer for him.
See, double big approach here with Fresno State. Mia and Robinson sharing the floor for one of the few times together this season.
But Campbell couldn't get it to either. Forced to take a tough 3. Hamilton, a lot of dribbling. He likes that isolation, but that time the hand check on Jordan Campbell.
In transition, everyone reacting to Donovan Williams, and he will pass as well as look for his own offense there. Slight step over the line for Ham, who can knock down threes. Good find from Williams. And Ham taking a good quality shot that they desperately needed to end this drought. They run about every out-of-bounds play for Bryce Hamilton, and they are right on cue.
Averages 22 a game.
Here's that spin dribble. Good find.
Gets it to Williams.
This boy can play. I tell you what, I mean, I just love watching him. He can shoot it from 3. You see there, nice balance on the pull-up. He can finish above the rim. He's a willing passer. He's got a world of talent.
He was playing great ball before that knee tweak that caused him to miss a handful of games. He's missed the last 3. Tie up. And our first time to the arrow.
Fresno's going to defend, and then when they do, it opens up offense for them. Robinson leading the break. Hill taking it from there.
Fresno State with a lead at home early on against UNLV. That time of year where the games start to take on a little bit more weight. 25 days until Selection Sunday, which is the great time of year in all the sports. In fact, let's go with a little flashback back to 1996. Some guy named Sidney Johnson was a member of the Princeton squad that shocked the world. It beat UCLA in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
I owe our producer about $10 right there, John. You got me good. You got me good. My kids are sitting there going, hey, that's Daddy. He's as skinny as he is now.
But, I mean, tell me what it's like to be a part of an upset like that. We all sit at home and watch on the edge of our seats come March Madness, but to actually be a part of an upset like that.
Chris, literally, no exaggeration, the best time of my life. I mean, teammates are like brothers. Head coaches are like father figures. You know, there was about 15 years straight where there wasn't a day that went by that people didn't chase me down and say, hey, did you beat that UCLA team? I'm getting old now, so it doesn't happen as much. But an awesome experience, and I just want to thank my teammates, my coaches, and the school that took a chance on a kid from Towson, Maryland to come there and make some history with that Tiger program.
Wanting to make some noise in March, Fresno State late shot clock here in a February matchup, but a great pass to Junior Ballard. Orlando Robinson is comfortable being double-teamed.
And there's the value of this young man. Think about somebody who's impressing NBA scouts, and what does he want to do? He wants to be the best defensive player in the league, and he wants to improve his decision-making there, finding a cutter and making a wonderful pass.
Hamilton gets space, but can't find the range.
You see, they're going to feed Robinson. We've told you they're going to play through him, but he's reading the defense there. A double team from the baseline, which is tough to see, and Ballard doing an excellent job, not staying rooted, cutting to the basket. Orlando serves him up.
One of the things that the Fresno State staff has highlighted with Robinson is that when you just see him in practice, he sounds like a coach now. He's talking more. He's directing more.
Well, I'm a little bit biased, and this is a perfect add-on to the clips that we just saw in terms of Coach Carrillo and Princeton. But any team that runs the Princeton offense, your center is one of the smartest players on the floor, and that's Orlando Robinson through and through. He's reading defenses, he understands schemes, and then he knows when to do his job, which is score the basketball.
Luga's three is off. Great start for Fresno State. Their offense combining with their suffocating defense. Three-pointer. Robinson off the front rim.
I'm really surprised by UNLV, and they've got to go. They've got to go faster. Any kind of stop they get, they've got to fly it down. They're really having trouble against a half court.
Royce Ham delivers.
And at this point, without Ham Jr., who's a high-energy, active kid, battles in the post, offensive rebounds, but right now his outside shooting is really helping his team at least stay within striking distance here in the first half.
Junior Ballard rising fire.
Go, UNLV, push it, fly down the court. We got to get a rim runner.
Hamilton's been relatively quiet. Only one field goal so far.
And some of that may change as Fresno State starts to pay a little bit more attention to Ham, even Nuga, McCabe.
Hamilton, catch and release.
It wasn't going to be long, right? I mean, one thing that I've noticed about him is how hard he plays for 40 full minutes. You never see him gassed. He is always in attack mode. Wonderful young man from talking to Coach Kruger in terms of how quiet and polite he is and well-mannered, but boy, when he gets out on the court, he's a bit of an assassin.
Going back to Hamilton. He's even up his game his last 8. He's close to 30 points per game in his last 8 contests. And another long ball. Royce Ham, he has the touch from distance.
Yeah, he's cooking, and the entire UNLV bench is up. He has delivered exactly what they've needed, and they have whittled this lead down to 4 points.
He's been over 50% from 3 over his last 3, and all of a sudden, UNLV right back in. Ballard from the corner, front of the rim.
We worked on that action and shoot around, just a weak side flare screen exactly for Ballard. He had all kinds of room. Probably wanted to knock that one down.
Ham did it from the outside, rolling to the rim this time. Fouled en route to the hoop, and UNLV with a 9-0 run, a chance for more.
This is exactly what Coach Kruger has been looking for, and you and I talked about it already. I mean, we know what we're going to get from Robinson. We know what we're going to get from Hamilton, but it's the other guys, and Ham Jr. is raising his hand sky high and saying, hey, I want to deliver. Fresno State defense, especially in the half court, has been so locked in, and you see those two. I mean, that's really good company, and no surprise to anyone that Justin Hudson has a team that is rivaling his former school, San Diego State, in terms of the type of defense they play.
You mentioned rivaling San Diego State. One of the things from talking to a handful of coaches in the league is that, you know, before it used to be San Diego State really the only team that had that length, the switchability. Now everybody in the Mountain West is really building in that style, and that's why this league is perhaps the strongest it's been since they had 5 teams in the tournament in 2013.
You could argue that college basketball, in a sense, is a copycat type of situation. Syracuse's 2-3 zone, especially when they made that Final Four run, everybody wanted to model that. Now you see outstanding defense and people trying to copy that.
Well, UNLV is climbing right back in this game.
They've chipped away, and Ham has been one, but then obviously Hamilton. He's going to bring you what you need. The Rebels are back in this in Fresno on the road.
Saturday night, 8 Eastern, these running Rebels back on our air for a Mountain West showdown as they face the Colorado State Rams. Catch the tip-off right here on CBS Sports Network. That's a high-profile matchup for UNLV. They have a handful of those left. They still face the league's top 3 teams before the season is out. Colorado State, Boise State, who right now is up 13 against Air Force, and Wyoming, who's as of now inside the top 25, although they just lost to New Mexico. This league has a lot of challenges, in UNLV on a run here, but they still have a lot of chances for some great wins.
Yeah, we're looking at 4 and arguably 5 teams that are NCAA worthy. UNLV has to be careful. They'll be up for those games that you highlighted. There's a rivalry game there against Nevada that will be really, really important to everybody in the UNLV program. They have to respect those guys as well and look to win that one.
UNLV already a win against Nevada this season. Face up Jay Robinson, tip back, Holland won't go. Rebound volleyed out of bounds, and it's UNLV basketball. A 11-0 UNLV run as Fresno State has not scored in the last 10 minutes.
Well, and
last 3 minutes, excuse me.
Robinson has gotten up 11 shots, only 3 for 11. And some of that has to do with he's settling for jump shots. But he's also reading the defense and letting the game come to him, so you can't fault him too much.
Williams back in the lineup and back with the basket.
Yes, I don't have a rooting interest in this, Chris, but I do want to see number 3 in red play basketball. I mean, I just think he said it before, oozes with talent, long arms, athletic, and you see he's never rushed. He can climb and finish through contact. If you're way late, he'll put it on your head. Bright future here, and if he gets in form, I've said it before, if he gets in form, there are teams that are not going to want to face the running Rebels when conference play comes around. He is that good and a great 1-2 punch with Bryce Hamilton.
Soft layup, won't fall for Campbell. 14 straights for UNLV. Fling to the rim, but the follow-up goes right through David Mwaka. Rebels, a 3-point advantage. Has this game flipped or what?
Totally, completely turned around, but it all started with getting out in transition just like this. Play a bit faster. You have the advantage. Numbers are your way, and something good can happen.
The heel on the sideline. So a turnover.
Again, it all started in transition. Bryce Hamilton finding the open spot, and Muoka doing the rest. Offensive rebounds galore. Like we said, second best team in the Mountain West in terms of attacking the glass and they know there's going to be second chance opportunities because of how much attention Hamilton draws. Sometimes help defenders are out of position to box out.
So what can Fresno State do on this end to look like what they did in the game's opening 5 minutes?
Just this right here.
4-point play. Anthony Holland.
Chris, you're a good setup man, but to be honest, right, before a couple of timeouts ago, we had clips of Holland and Ballard knocking it down from long distance, and this is exactly what they need. And again, Coach Hudson has talked about he truly values Holland. He's a dead-eye shooter. They're clear slap on the follow-through by Williams. And Holland, great concentration. Keep his eye on the basket and put it through.
Well, you've mentioned it. Getting more shots up would be beneficial for the Fresno State offense if Holland can do just that.
And take the threes that come to you. Stop turning those down. I've watched a lot of film on Fresno State. Some of the guys are pump faking. McCabe, he's not going to shy away, but clean looks that are inside out or within the rhythm of the offense, hey man, let those go. Believe and trust that that's the right shot and no fault.
Isolation, then a high screen and roll. Hamilton gets the switch against Robinson.
We've gone to the switch 5 look a lot of times. Robinson has been out there on Hamilton. But they have to respect Nuga. He is really efficient for them. I mean, just does so much. Defends, rebounds, extra passes, and then obviously knocking it down from 3 if you don't close out.
Speaking of 3, Polimario gets one off.
And another rebound for Nuga.
A sprint by UNLV to take the lead. And here's Hamilton doing what he loves. Ball at the top, spin in the lane, floater goes.
Yeah, I mean, you can't guard him one-on-one. I'm just telling you that right now. He's that good. He demands help. That's how he helps UNLV, because he can make tough shots, but he also forces you to get other defenders involved. And if you don't, he'll give you a 42-piece like he did with the Colorado State Rams. Good defense here. Another transition opportunity.
That 42-piece that he gave the Rams of Colorado State at Moby Arena. Wait to see what the guys at halftime, Adam Zucker, Chris Walker, Renee Montgomery, Gary Parrish on AT&T at the half, talking about UNLV's top player, Hamilton, who misses a straightaway 3. And AT&T at the half will get you up to speed on all the night's college basketball action.
Let's see if he'll want to use this ball screen and get to the rim.
Turns the corner, gets the layup off glass before the horn. Isaiah Hill, excellent first half. He has 8 points. It pulls Fresno State within 2.
Knew it was coming because they love to go ball screen late, and Hill does the work from there. He can go right or left. Wonderful lefty layup here, right over the outstretched defender from UNLV. Hill has given them a nice shot in the arm as of late.
What a half. It's been a fun one. On AT&T at the half, Adam Zucker, Chris Walker, Renee Montgomery, Gary Parrish standing by in the New York studio. We'll get you up to speed on all the night's college basketball action. 33-31 is the first half score. UNLV, after falling behind, on the run to take the lead. College basketball on CBS Sports Network.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Intuit TurboTax Live. You do your thing. We've got your taxes.
Getting ready to start the second half from the Save Mart Center. It's UNLV up by 2 over Fresno State. With Coach Sidney Johnson, Chris Lewis with you. That first half had more turns and transitions than the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. Fresno State, then UNLV, then Fresno State, then UNLV.
I'm getting tired of you just breaking it down for me, but no, it's a game of runs, and every game is unique, right? So we have these star players, but it'll never get away from being a team game. Other guys got involved, and that's what we saw.
The star watch in this game, we Highlighted it at the beginning. Bryce Hamilton, the conference's leading scorer. Orlando Robinson, perhaps the best prospect in the league. Their numbers were down, and we said whichever one could get the most help,
Right.
their team might be in better shape.
Yeah, just like you said, they got plenty of shots, but then who else can make this a complete roster, a complete offensive approach? And UNLV had the answer there. A good ball movement, guys knocking down shots. They've shot so much better in Mountain West play. The tallest man out on the floor, Ham Jr., he's the one who actually got it started. Long shots, a long two even as well. So 3 outside shots, other running Rebels getting involved, and there you have it, a 2+2 point advantage for UNLV.
I was talking about with the roller coaster, half number 1. Fresno State, great start. UNLV response. Bulldogs exploded. UNLV countered. 2-point game to start the second half.
And it says a lot about both teams that they have responded, right? So there have been droughts. Nice find there from McCabe. Nice little step through and laying it off for Ham Jr. How good has he been, number 14 in red? But both teams are answering the punches, and that's what you need. Because if you don't, you're going to get blown out. And that's not what we're going to expect from these two teams who have a lot to play for in Mount Went's play.
Foul on the way to the basket as Michael Nunga gets called for his second.
McCabe leads the team in assists, one of the best assist guys in the league. Look at that. Look away. Staring in the other direction. Taking a page out of my guy, Magic Johnson. No look, layoff to Ham. And he throws it down.
Does have that kind of flair. You mentioned the praise. Jordan McCabe is a former Wisconsin Mr. Basketball as Campbell's at the line, but McCabe was once on Ellen's show.
Yeah.
As a preteen, showing off the handles. He's had that kind of playmaking flair really ever since he was 5, 6, 7 years old.
And he's got a huge presence on social media. I'm going to make fun of my kids. Is it TikTok? Or is it no, it's TikTok? Okay,
TikTok.
Just checking.
I felt like you knew that. You're just trying to make yourself look uncool. You're trying to be like that sly, cool dad.
Old. No, but he has quite a following, but the game to match. Good assist guy, stroke from downtown.
Double clutch. Wow, got bailed out with Muga coming to the basketball. Face up Jay. Ham's hit from 3, hit on the interior, but the mid-range, that time off.
And let's see what Fresno State, how they respond. We know the 3-point shooting was helpful for them with Holland and Ballard. But Orlando Robinson, let's keep an eye, Chris, on his free throw attempts. He's got to get to the line. In addition to spreading offense and all that, he's got to get to the basket and get free throw attempts.
Well, he has drawn the second foul on Royce Ham Jr. Mario's wide open, says why not?
I mentioned those free throw attempts. Robinson only had 1 in his games against Boise State. The 2 games, he had 2 free throws. Those were losses.
Gilbert wants 3. Give him 3. Just his 6th 3 of the year for Deshaun Gilbert.
They don't expect that from him. He's a tenacious on-ball defender. Has a bit of Patrick Beverly in him. I mean, he is a dog.
Mario fouled.
He does not need any help guarding some of the best players in the league. And his stroke has been slow to come, but it'll take high-quality shots, wide open look, assisted by McCabe. And that's gravy in terms of the attack that UNLV brings, because they don't expect that much from Gilbert in terms of scoring.
3 assists for McCabe, who averages 5 a game. Mario, 80% free throw shooter. That's his first tally.
I want to go back to Robinson. 2 free throws against Utah. That was a loss. 0 free throws against San Francisco earlier in the season. Number 10 in white is very skilled, can stretch the defense from 3, from 2, but he needs to pay his rent on the block, scoring and putting pressure on people at the rim. Get to the free throw line.
Pay the rent. You have to do that first before you do anything else.
That's it. You got to work inside out. All great big players big guys understand that and do it effectively. They help their basketball teams.
McCabe with his 3 assists. Elbow J. Robinson boards.
Good rebound. A little bit of numbers here, although Fresno State isn't quick to run, typically.
Robinson sets the screen that time to give room for Holland. A little too much room, as it's called a moving screen. Second foul on Orlando Robinson.
Yeah, I don't love those calls. Sometimes the defenders bail out a bit. Here's Gilbert. Look there. I mean, that's not, there's not a lot there, okay? Robinson just sets the screen and rolls. Gilbert just kind of bails out on recovering, and that's just a play on as far as I'm concerned.
Had a game earlier this season against Boise State where Orlando Robinson had 4 offensive fouls in a game that Fresno State lost in overtime. There's an offensive foul. Charge drawn by Isaiah Hill.
And that's the half-court defense we're used to seeing. The Bulldogs really look superb in the first 10 minutes of the game. And they're starting this second half, I should say, the way they started the game. Good help position there. Nuga trying to push through and force the action, finds an open shooter in the corner, but because of Hill's positioning, turnover. Bulldogs get it back.
His 3rd foul, Donovan Williams, the Texas transfer in. The 2 Texas transfers for UNLV have combined for 17, so it's a Tulsa transfer on Fresno State that operates from deep. That's Isaiah Hill.
I've seen it once, seen it a dozen times. Hill delivers in critical moments for Fresno State, and that makes it a 1-possession game.
McCabe takes it away from Hill. Goes to the rim, and Robinson commits the foul. Violence at the backboard.
Yeah, easy call there for the official.
That's the 3rd on Robinson.
A run out here, costly then. Yeah, that's wide open shooter in the corner, and then getting your best player in a foul situation.
Would you let that go if you're Orlando Robinson? You're too important for your team to pick up the 3rd foul that early in the second half.
Great call, Chris. That's absolutely correct. You know, he really did. I mean, he just kind of almost was like a fatigue foul. He just kind of ran straight and allowed McCabe to crash into him. He really didn't even try to block the shot. So he probably should have shied off and made sure that he could stay here out on the floor.
That's big. Write it down. 16:46. Left in the second half. The All-Mountain West big man, Orlando Robinson, averaging 19 and 8, takes a seat.
I got to stop ringing the bell for Braxton Mia, but he did have good minutes for them off the bench. A young man there to Robinson's left. Braxton Mia had a basket and an and one, got to the free throw line, but they go with Viola here to sub for Robinson. We'll see how that works for Coach Hudson.
Viola, who's a freshman. Difficult 3. Campbell way short. Hamilton hasn't had the dynamic scoring game as of yet. And that time it's a turnover on the running Rebs.
He has been slow to start, but there, even the fact that he'll drive and he's willing, you see how many white jerseys collapse, he's willing to share the game. That's a good player for you.
And Viola is the one who tipped that pass. We talked about, hey, going instead of Mia, who had a good first half, Viola in the second half, well, he makes a play.
Good recognition there, Chris. And those are the little things that will be recognized by your coaching staff to earn you a little bit more clock.
Isaiah Hill is in fuego. This 3-point shot has been deadly lately. He is 14 in this game. That was last touched by Fresno State.
The active hands from the Bulldogs have them scrambling on defense and making an impact, but it's Hill who's scoring out there from the perimeter. Johnny on the spot, and we've got a locked-up ball game here in the Mountain West.
.40 Club, CBS Sports Network on the screen. UNLV, Fresno State all locked up. Take a look at tonight's Into It TurboTax Live player profile. Mike Nuga. He's been all over the place. Born in Nigeria. He grew up in Toronto, but attended prep school in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Junior college in Florida, Portland State, Kent State, now here at UNLV.
I wonder if he wakes up in his dorm room and has to be reminded of which school he's at. I say that softly and affectionately. I caught an interview. Well, let's look at those numbers in terms of analytics, right? He's a deadly shooter from 3, or he's going all the way to the rim. He doesn't waste any time in terms of the mid-range shot. Exactly what the analytics guys would love to see. Perfect modern-day basketball player. But a wonderful young man. Caught an interview of Nuga after the Air Force game and is really understanding his role. High-energy guy. He's been a wonderful contributor to UNLV, has really helped push the culture forward under the leadership of Coach Kruger.
Deep post for Viola before the shot of foul. First on Bryce Hamilton. Now, you talked about the importance of Mike Nuga. He's on the bench for UNLV with 3 fouls. For Fresno State, Orlando Robinson, their top player, the big 7-footer, also has 3 fouls. So foul trouble, a story here.
Yeah, it's something that you have to adjust to as a college basketball player, your decision-making, and also how the game is being called, and being mindful to not penalize yourself.
Another foul is the hard work down low.
We're starting to tighten up this ball game inside the stripes, just coaching the guys through and saying, hey, this is what we see. Spending a little time talking them through it and allowing them to say, hey, all right, this is how the game's being called again. Make the adjustment so we can have a clean ball game the rest of this 15-10 to go.
That is already the 6th foul in the half on UNLV. First on Justin Webster. Hill's been 45% from 3 over his last 6 games. Inside the line, long on the mid-range. Great poke, Hill knocks it away from the spinning Williams.
How active has Fresno State been on the drives, penetration, high hands. Hands are out.
There's Holland. You've talked about him not pulling the trigger on some threes that he could perhaps get off.
Yeah, it was probably a pretty good closeout there. Nice extra, and there they get the layup.
So it all works out. Robert Viola, freshman from San Mateo, California.
Going back to the defense, Chris, we were sitting there during shoot-around, and one of the assistant coaches for Fresno State said, hey, use your length. You guys know what that means. Get your hands out. Close these gaps in the space. And the young men have really executed that right now as they're getting their hands on 50-50 balls, steals, and really slowing down UNLV's rhythm offensively.
Late shot clock. Webster connects.
Where has he been? He is always quick to pull the trigger off the bench. A confident shooter, standout player at his former institution. And now here at UNLV, I've always thought that he'd be a good bench producer for them when shots would come his way.
7 lead changes, 4 ties for another lead change. Ballard off the rim.
Good closeout there by McCabe to contest that shot.
McCabe triggers a 3. Sprays off. And Ballard goes high to grab it. 5th place in the Mountain West on the line. Right now, Fresno State a half game up over UNLV for that 5th spot. Top 5 teams in the Mountain West get a bye in the first round of the conference tournament. About 3 weeks away. There's a beautiful spin. Anthony Holland knocks it down. Fresno State back in front.
Chris, I hate this one. I hate it. I can't stand the flop warnings from this standpoint. Okay, it's a flop. Let's continue action. Keep playing. Make the flop warning. J.D. Collins, that's my guy. He's national coordinator of officials. Make the flop warning and then record it at the next media timeout. There's no need to stop the game for that.
Just want that flow to continue.
Yeah, let's just keep hooping. And you can make that call. You've already signaled it. Just record it in the book. Let the coaches know during the media timeout so that we can continue the flow of this wonderful game that we have.
It's been a great one. First half of runs, Second half, trading buckets. Hamilton goes to work. Ballard defends. Attacks right to the paint. Pivots around. Fadeaway J. Yes, sir. Had everything there.
That's how good he is, because the help was there. There's plenty of swipes. Nia fully extended to block that shot. But Hamilton is that good that he'll make it even when you're loaded up to try to stop him.
In double figures, he is 10. That time, Hill wide left. Hill's not afraid to get him up, though.
No, he's not, and they dared him a little bit by going underneath. They probably don't want to do that too much, because as you mentioned, he's been red hot his last 6-7 ball games.
45% from 3 over his last 6. High volume, too. In fact, in that stretch, he's made 2 or more in all but one of those games.
Chris, when Fresno State goes into lulls, I want to see them extend their pressure. They just did it there, but be more aggressive. I think it fires up the Bulldogs and just gets them playing much harder. And they need some offense from the press. Can't rely on their half court.
Webster gets the layup. That was a lot of attention drawn to Hamilton, and that left Webster open, attacking that closeout.
Yeah, he's going to open some stuff up for you, and it's good to see complimentary guys take advantage.
Ball pinballs around the paint. UNLV scoops it up on the run. Hamilton leads the break. Step through move, off glass it in.
That's where he's really dangerous. And yeah, timeout just to kind of rally the troops. But Hamilton is starting to cook now. He's always going to warrant some help, and you got to dig down. And so you see this fadeaway action here. Gosh, what a wonderful pivot. And then in open spaces, you don't want to see that at all. This kid will make you pay. UNLV +5. Come back and see how this turns out.
UNLV has scored 6 in a row to take a lead over Fresno State. Time for Pound, brought to you by Row Fitness. And there might not be a player pound for pound in this conference better than Bryce Hamilton.
It has to go to number 13 in red, and I think he's got 82 games a year coming to him. I mean, he scores in so many different ways. Most made field goals in the Mountain West. How? Why? Because he can score from 3, mid-range, Euro step, his spin dribbles, and he does battle for offensive rebounds himself. I think this kid is an All-American. I think he's that good. I don't think you can guard him one-on-one. He demands extra help. He's had a brilliant season, and I applaud him. UNLV's got a good one.
Well, he's 7th in the nation in scoring. Last year, he tested the waters. I think that's the saying these days of the NBA draft, but elected to come back. He also was in the transfer portal, but also decided to come back to UNLV. And Running Rebels fans happy to see him flourish this season. So now with Fresno State, Orlando Robinson is back on the floor at the center spot. He has 3 fouls. But at this point, game slipping away. Gets the deep touch. Hook shot, no. Viola gets the offensive rebound in his hat. So Fresno State's going to claw back in it, down by 5, and their go-to guy back in. UNLV on a run, up 5 against Fresno State. I know we're in February, but it might be close to Easter because I see a big ham and Roy's ham.
I see what you did there, Chris. I love his energy. Active, versatile. Normally is an offensive rebounder, but he stretches the defense, and obviously he'll punish the rim if you give him that type of spacing. But he was the key in the first half. As the Running Rebels were getting blown out, I mean, they were down double digits. He comes up with a few made jump shots from distance, and all of a sudden UNLV was back into it, and now he's done it again in the second half. +5 for UNLV. Fresno State must respond.
You're just joining us. This first half was wild with the swings back and forth. Fresno State had the 6-0 lead. UNLV scored the next 8. Fresno State scored the next 15. As you mentioned, looked like UNLV was going to get blown out. Rebels finished the half 21-6 run. Second half has been more back and forth, but right now UNLV scored the game's last 6. That could end with Viola at the free throw line.
Yeah, and I think these two teams are still working to find their best basketball, because when you get a lead, it's so important to build on it, you know, and not let it go. And I think that's something that both teams are going to want to fine-tune as we get closer and closer to the conference tournament.
The foul before the break was the 17th foul against UNLV. Iola's not a great free throw shooter. Doesn't make the front end. Rebels with Hamilton, carving out space, misses the teardrop.
Yeah, he just missed that. There was really nothing that Fresno State did. He got exactly where he wanted to and just kind of pulled the string just a little bit. That was a nice shot.
6-0 UNLV run came with Robinson on the bench. He's back in with 3 fouls, and that is his 4th. Orlando Robinson, the offensive foul for his 4th personal with still 10 minutes to go.
Chris, let's look at the replay, but I thought Ham just used his mind and some cunning there to draw that foul. Orlando Robinson got a little bit frustrated with the physicality, and a big play here. Here's the tussle. Yeah, actually, Fishers might have missed the first one, all right? Ham was pretty physical there, and then Orlando Robinson responded, and it looks like they called the second action instead of the first.
They out on the 3 from Webster. But the lack of size with Robinson on the bench. UNLV gets the O-board, give it away. Holland runs the floor, banged on the way to the rim. Follow-up, Campbell gets it.
Yeah, Fresno State's got to get scrappy now, all right? They've got to use their size and their speed and their quickness, because of the lack of size now with Ham and Iwalko out there for UNLV. Hamilton's a big guard as well. So the Bulldogs have to get scrappy and gang rebound.
Second time UNLV got caught with the heel on the sideline on the corner catch.
Coach Hudson has wanted his Bulldogs to push in transition, to play a little bit faster, but he said, Sydney, I'm not so sure about their decision-making, or else I would just completely relinquish the reins on them. Well, there, they got an offensive rebound opportunity in transition. I'm sure he was happy with that.
Lane opens up. Campbell climbs the ladder, falls on the way down, but it remains Fresno State basketball. Looked painful for Jordan Campbell.
Yeah, hope he's okay. Good drive, drew a lot of red jerseys, I thought. Look at that, 3, almost 4 Rebels there. Him looked like he got the hand on the ball. But Campbell might have had a pass to the left corner there, or right corner, I should say, to a wide open teammate. Holland from 3.
That time a contested look. Seventh leading scorer in the nation, UNLV's Bryce Hamilton cut off. Outlet is Ham Jr. Short on the 3. Hill tiptoes the baseline and saves it.
Iwalko plays really hard. Almost came up with an offensive rebound there. He's giving them good energy minutes along with Ham.
Victor Iwalko, just such a great build, the Oklahoma transfer. He's 6'7", 225 pounds, just a defensive presence. Royce Ham Jr. with that perplexed look, his 3rd foul.
And Chris, this is where this foul right here that they called, I thought the officials might have missed on the one that they gave to Orlando Robinson. He's overly physical at times. That's the one thing that works against Ham Jr. is just high energy. Sometimes doesn't have any finesse there in the low post. And he'll tussle with you and picks up the foul.
Iola, 3rd free throw made this season in 10 attempts. Front end of the 1-and-1.
I think we can both agree a foul against Robinson probably hurts Fresno State a lot more than Ham being on the bench, as he is such a huge part of what Fresno State does offensively, inside out, almost every trip down.
So at what point does a coach think about putting back in a player with 4 fouls who's an interior player, so perhaps foul prone? He has that 4 foul trouble for Fresno State.
Yeah, the only Bulldog in foul trouble, but the most important Bulldog. Try to get to the last 4 minutes. Last media timeout. Try to keep this game close, and then you got to ride it with it and just coach him up. Please be smart. I need you all the way down to the last seconds.
Never hit the rim. Shot clock violation. Fans getting tight. as we're approaching crunch time for Fresno, California. A big one in the Mountain West. A look at the AT&T game summary. And the 3-ball for UNLV has been a big boost. They come in the 5th best three-point shooting team in the Mountain West, and they used the 3 to climb back in it when they were down double figures.
Well, they've been on fire in conference play, which has really helped them. And obviously, that's going to complement Bryce Hamilton. Obviously, he's part of that three-point shooting. Sticks out to me, only 6 turnovers for Fresno State. That has really helped them because offensively, they're not really electric or powerful.
Tomorrow, 6 Eastern, jam-packed nights on the hardwood. Tipping off matchup between the top 2 teams in the CAA, Towson and UNCW. Later, the Creighton Blue Jays visit DePaul at 10, followed by Nevada battling San Jose State. Don't miss any of the action right here on CBS Sports Network. The profile of the Creighton Blue Jays says we're really starting to hammer out what do you look like in quad 1? What are your bad losses outside the top 2 quadrants? Who are your top wins? The Big East is giving Creighton the opportunity, and they've already knocked off Nova, UConn.
I just laugh as a coach. I mean, Coach McDermott is outstanding at his job, and so a little bit of heat last year, and what does he do? He just responds with yet another winning season in an NCAA tournament caliber season. Blue Jays are used to winning, and they do so with McDermott at the head.
Fresno State down a basket that Campbell tries to make on a fadeaway.
Bad miss there. He's more of a slasher and cutter to the basket. Sometimes can make it off his pull-up game, but much better finishing at the rim.
Hamilton gets loose. Quick release. Gets his own board. Hot to the basket. Hits the ground hard. Tip up by Iwako.
Iwako is the answer so far. Just high energy, great lift in place of Ham Jr. Again, offensive rebounds, extra effort. Wonderful job by number 34 in red. Excuse me, 0 in red.
Holland can't connect. UNLV pushes. Hamilton collides in an offensive foul.
It's probably the right call. He was well set up and in position there. You know that Hamilton, sometimes that Euro can work against you. Campbell does a great job. Instead of trying to meet him at the rim, gets himself in position well outside the charge circle. And sometimes that Euro can step you actually into a body and crash over someone to draw an offensive foul.
Hill gets loose. Won't fall. Viola gets another offensive rebound for the Bulldogs.
Chris, you nailed it. He's been really good off the bench for them with offensive rebound opportunities.
Hill has to be the go-to guy with Robinson on the bench. Shot clock late. Hill, no. Iwako just shows off the athletic flash on the rebound.
Hill happy to oblige and step up, but has just not found the basket. And to go back to your question, 2 more minutes, and I bet your paycheck that Orlando Robinson will be back in the game.
Are you sure you want to do that? I feel like yours is...
No.
It might be a little...
I got kids at home, Chris.
Hamilton. No foul. It just stays here with UNLV.
One of the rare times he's not able to get to his spot and power up. But credit the Bulldogs. They've been locked in and attentive to him. And Bryce Hamilton hasn't had the 42-point outing, but know that he will score because they come to him so often.
Now 5 for 17 shooting. Efficiency has been the name of his game over the last 8. Perhaps more than what he typically is for UNLV's volume scorer. And right there, 5:39 left in the half. Orlando Robinson with 4 fouls is back in for Fresno State.
I think this is a gamble, a real true gamble that I might not take on my own, but coach is thinking he doesn't want his guys to get more than 3 possessions behind. And that's why Robinson checked back into the game.
Walker with a big rejection underneath.
They have gotten outstanding contributions from their front court. The bigs in Iwako, Nuoka, and obviously Ham, they've been outstanding for UNLV defensively, and then Ham obviously giving an offensive punch as well.
And Hill has to work with a late shot clock. Pick and pop. Robinson's block. Another block by Milwaukee.
Block jump shot.
Might have gotten away with a walk. Instead, Milwaukee. Make that Iwako. Held up by Milwaukee. UNLV's interior duo is doing it all.
A terrible twosome. These two are combining for all kinds of plays, even getting out in transition and making the extra pass, finishing through contact. Colomario can't deal with the physicality. +1. Let's see if this free throw can go down.
Everything going right. David Milwaukee, Victor Iwako, 2 reserve bigs for UNLV. Both transfers have really changed this game to build a 7-point lead.
Front court has been the story. And as a committee, have pretty much outplayed the best big man in the league.
So Fresno State goes with the long ball. Junior Ballard, 41% sniper.
I've always liked him. He really plays hard defensively, fights and claws, intense, and then is a very good shooter. Anytime you have a shooter who defends as well, you got to find minutes for him on the floor.
Why not Hamilton? He's been struggling from the floor in this game.
He has.
Doubled. Robinson tips, 1 to shoot, out of bounds, might be with the second left. No, shot clock violation.
And there are those hands, again, active hands. Bulldogs are responding to the coaching that they receive. We were there, front row seat during shoot-around. Use your length. Coach Hudson and his staff really imploring his guys to stay active, and in key moments, it's coming through.
Where's Fresno State, a top 5 scoring defense, top 25 efficiency defense in the nation. They can rely on that. Another Mountain West close game in a league that's been full of them. One of the most entertaining leagues in the country. Another one down the stretch in Fresno. For the Bulldogs complete a comeback. The Vegas native facing his hometown team, Orlando Robinson, has had his struggles.
Yeah, they've tried to establish him on the block, which is exactly where he's been most effective, but the front court from UNLV has responded. Then he tries to take it from outside and is just not able to finish towards the rim to draw free throws. He has 0 free throw attempts in this ball game. He's one of the tops in the Mountain West.
Let's revisit the keys to the game.
Yeah, well, we know that Bryce was going to get a lot of looks, but the miracles have shown up, and they've hit the offensive glass, which has been a story. Again, the front court for UNLV. Feed the big dog. They've done everything that they can. He just hasn't been able to convert. But the turnovers that they've forced Fresno State, and in turn, Fresno State's low turnover number, has made this a nip-and-tuck ball game.
A foul before the break on UNLV. It's the double bonus for Fresno State, so 2 freebies for Orlando Robinson. And Coach, as we're talking keys, is there a new key that we should lock in on for these last 4 minutes in a close game?
Absolutely. Let's look at the pace of play in this score, and I want to thank our CBS research team because UNLV is looking at 1-7 when they've scored less than 64 points. So although they have the lead, this is the type of pace that Fresno State thrives in.
For the tie, yes sir! Junior Ballard, we're locked up at 54.
They want to play games like this, nip and tuck, low scoring, grind it out. It's not necessarily UNLV's way, so let's see the execution down the stretch for both teams.
Hamilton, wild spin is a foul. Isaiah Hill, first foul on the guard for the Bulldogs.
You are a great player, obviously, if you can get stuff done, but more importantly, if you make your team play better. That inside out, Ballard relocates finds the open spot, and Robinson delivers the pass right on the money. Number 4 in white knocks it down. We got a tie ball game.
7 straight in 72 seconds for Fresno State to lock it up.
Middle ball screen, middle of the court is where Hamilton loves to operate.
Hang dribble 3, not the shooter's touch.
Yeah, it just hasn't bounced his way, but big shot makers make plays down the stretch, so don't think number 13 is done quite yet.
Last lead for Fresno State was 44-43.
Got to be wary of the shot clock here.
Seems to always find Hill's hands. Rises for another. Hamilton chases the rebound.
Ham Jr. grabbed Orlando Robinson's arm as he pursued that basketball. That's the type of energy that I'm talking about, where sometimes he just overdoes it. But he didn't get caught by the official. And it's UNLV ball.
Jordan McCabe, transfer from West Virginia. Excellent ball handler. Hamilton, late clock. Not going to throw away his shot. Bryce Hamilton.
The kid is built for Broadway, baby. Never tires, always in attack mode. That step back dribble is lethal. Bulldogs have to respond.
(57-54) UNLV with Hamilton. And the big shot to go in front. Coming up next, we go coast to coast. Hoops experts have the latest updates and hot takes as the road to the Final Four continues. Watch Inside College Basketball right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Can't wait to hear what the group has to say about this close battle. Fresno State with the ball down 3. 3 of their 5 Mountain West losses have been by 5 points or fewer.
And Chris, the weight of that made 3 is that Fresno State often plays inside out, and so they usually rely on the 2s from Robinson. They're not a heavy 3-point shooting team.
Robinson with those 4 fouls cannot convert, but the ball remains with the Bulldogs.
That's an area for growth. Obviously, we're seeing it on display right now. Is just the strength to power up and make those bunnies. That's going to help him at the next level and obviously try to lead his team now to March Madness. He needs to be able to finish through contact.
We're under a couple of minutes left, so the officials can go to the video monitor to take a look at the possession. It was ruled Fresno State ball.
And as we take a look at the replay here, Uwalko tips Viola as well. That's not an easy one.
It looks like it might have been off of Fresno State's Viola.
I would agree with that. Now, if that's the case, plenty of time, 1:46 left, 1 possession game. I would love to see Fresno State extend their pressure, okay? Try to get a turnover. Don't be too aggressive in terms of fouling, but then give UNLV much less time in the half court to figure out some kind of scoring action for Bryce Hamilton. You got to figure.
And then on the flip side, as they do reverse it, UNLV's basketball, I imagine UNLV will have the ball in the hands of either McCabe or Hamilton and let them go to work.
Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe there's a misdirection play too. I mean, they ran Hamilton off a double screen a few possessions ago, a 3 that he missed, but they might want to hide a little bit of what they're doing with Hamilton, although we all know he's probably going to take the shot.
Here's that pressure. A battle for 5th in the conference. Fresno State a half game ahead of UNLV. Top 5 in the Mountain West get the bye in the conference tournament.
And it shows how much I know. They go right back in this. I like this a lot. Good double team by Holland to try to get the ball out of his hands.
Tough look. He's a tough shot maker. Doesn't fall that time. And Walko tries to save it and does for UNLV. Just over a minute left. Rebels slow it down.
Ballard needs to go to top lock defense, full denial. Face guard. Don't let him get the ball back. That's a mistake there. Don't let him get the ball back. Force the Rebels to score a different way.
Spin move, whistle, and a foul called.
Looks like a charge.
It's an offensive foul. It's on Hamilton.
That's a huge play. I mean, I didn't think they should have allowed Bryce to get the ball back. But then he does what he does. He's got that spin move. But Bulldogs are in position. Holland coming up again with another big play. That's why they play this young man so much. They believe in him. He comes through with a huge play at home.
Hill's the best three-point shooter.
Why not?
Also, Holland can hit it way short. Robinson can't save it.
Almost looked like he was thinking about the hugeness of the moment, because that was a clear, wide-open look.
So about 14 seconds separating the two clocks. So plenty of time for Fresno State to allow this possession to be played out.
Use your length, right? Use your length. Try to see if you can get a strip, some kind of swipe at the ball. And if you double team him, don't let him get the ball back.
Iwako, teardrop off, tip of a rebound. Iwako is fouled.
That was huge.
With 14.3 left, Iwako has been a pogo stick on the glass all game.
One thing that stuck out to me is UNLV has played unselfishly all year. McCabe could have shot a little pull-up. He shares the game to Iwako, who stays relentless in terms of his attack, gets that offensive rebound. Now let's see if he can make some free throws. He really has struggled from the line this year.
They get Robinson for the foul. Orlando Robinson is fouled out for the third time this season. Last time he fouled out was the overtime loss against Boise State. It's been a tough one for Fresno State's Robinson. Crunch time continues in 30. 57-54, UNLV looking for a big road win as two teams right next to each other in the Mountain West standings. Right now 5 and 6. Take a look at the game reset. UNLV at the free throw line here, so a chance to make it a two-possession game with Iwako, who's not a great free throw shooter.
He is not, and so what's as much of a key is boxing out. If he happens to miss these free throws, you've got Hamilton, who does an effective job offensive rebounding, and Ham Jr. is the second best offensive rebounder in this league. So the Bulldogs have to gang, box out, and rebound.
Two shots here. Iwako 4 for 9 from the line this year, and not even close on the first.
That's a little scary for me from the standpoint. A bad miss, sometimes that's hard to gather the rebound. It's almost like an air ball shot. So this could be a challenge for Fresno State to come up with it.
That's a huge one.
It is.
4-point lead, 2 possessions for UNLV. Timeout as Fresno State with 14.3 left. What's the strategy on their side?
Drive, drive, drive the basketball. A lot of teams are nervous to foul in this situation, so don't settle for a 3. Take it to the rim. If UNLV happens to collapse, make sure that you're spotted up and lined up on the three-point line. Share the game, knock that one down, and then I would call a timeout just to set up the defense.
That was a UNLV called timeout, so each team with 1 still to go. This second half, extremely competitive. And the arrow right now to Fresno State.
Fresno State's ball. You also have to talk about a lot going on in these timeouts, Chris, as you're trying to get your guys ready. You also have to talk about, from Fresno State's perspective, if you happen to miss the shot, likely it's going to be a front court player for UNLV rebounding. Foul them right away.
Justin Hudson looking on his team is just 2 for their last 10 from 3 if they elect to go that route. Hill sees 2, has to hurry.
Outstanding coaching, a little 2-2-1 press there.
Pinned, but off the glass first, so a goaltend.
Well, and you see, Hill took advantage that UNLV, that was really good coaching. They boxed him in, and they probably could have got a turnover, but he continued to stay active, and UNLV didn't want to foul.
Another look at that. Was that a goaltend? Did that hit the glass first?
I don't think you can you pin it on the glass, though? So it didn't hit the glass first.
And if you can knock it off the glass, if it's not rolled above the cylinder.
You're right, but I don't know if you can pin it to the glass, and maybe that's why might be taking another look here.
And they ruled it goaltend. But fittingly, it was Iwalko who's just been a game changer for UNLV tonight.
Yeah, his production along with Ham have really been a great compliment to an off-shooting night from Hamilton. He's made a few big shots, but he has struggled. And so the front court for UNLV, that's the story of the ball game this evening.
The called goaltend, the officials taking a look. Randy McCall, Randy Hireman, Kelly Self. If they count the basket, it would be a 2-point game, 7 seconds left.
And for me, I got to think UNLV, they've got to be thinking about substituting and getting their best free throw shooters out there on the floor. Iwalko, as effective as he's been, they may want to check him out of the ball game. It looks like he's on the outside of the huddle, so they may have substituted for him.
All right, if they reverse this ruling here and rule that it wasn't a goaltend instead of block shot, I believe it would be a jump ball with the arrow right now belonging to Fresno State.
Okay.
And it hasn't been ruled yet, but just presenting the other side in case this does get overturned.
Well, there you have it. Now you know why I don't like the flopping call, because this is a stall in the game that we probably need, right? Make sure we get this right. So any other times earlier in the game, come on, let's keep this thing moving.
Done taking a look. Verdict being explained.
And you see the UNLV guys celebrating. So, yeah, clean block there. Good call on your part, Chris. And the running Rebels, they'll take possession.
I believe if it's a jump ball, it goes to the arrow, and the arrow
was Fresno State.
Fresno State. So
I see. So those guys, okay, so they were just applauding, but now.
After review, it was a clean block. It will be UNLV.
Well, they're going to take UNLV ball. Okay.
Yeah, that's they seem pretty fired up in that timeout. Can they get a 5?
Well, they call a timeout before it happens, their last.
That was really close. And that's the last timeout for the running Rebels.
All right, so 58-54, UNLV with the lead and the ball. So you're Fresno State. I imagine at this point there's only 7 seconds left. You have to foul immediately on the catch.
Of course you do. And for UNLV, some of the best actions, I think, is giving your team lots of space. So you can line them up at half court. Some coaches like to line them up along the baseline, 4 along the baseline, and do like football sprints down the court, and then somebody circle back. But give your team a lot of space to inbound the basketball. Fresno State, you're playing all out. You probably have to sell out and go for a steal, and probably will give up a long pass. But that's where you are right now with 7 seconds left to go and down 2 possessions.
And right now, the game-changing play was the Bryce Hamilton 3. It was all tied up. Hamilton, late shot clock as usual, went with his favorite step back, and that was the go-ahead shot. One more free throw added, but right now you just circle that play.
Yeah, and I'm a history major, right? I did go to Princeton. I fooled people into thinking I'm a smart guy, but math, simple math. 3s for 2s, and you're going to come out on top all day. And I just think that the pace of this game certainly favors Fresno State, but the effectiveness of the running Rebels from the 3-point line, that's something that the Bulldogs haven't really been able to match all conference play. That was a huge play from an outstanding basketball player in Bryce Hamilton.
7.5 on the clock. And McCabe to throw in.
That's a 50-50 ball.
And a foul on the catch. Mention it being a 50-50. It was dangerous, lofted for the athletic Hamilton.
Yeah, that wasn't the most confident toss in the world. And Hamilton going to the line for the first time all game. Imagine that. And still, UNLV might get out of here with a win. Also being off from the field. But the miracles, you know, I talked about Bryce and the miracles. Well, the miracles, those young men have come through. Iwalko, Luwalka, Ham as well. McCabe with timely passing and really good decision-making. This is a team win, and that bodes really well. Think about the job that Kruger, his staff, Carlin Hartman, a dear friend of mine, they have blended a group of 9 transfers, 10 new players to get an important win and maybe steal one of those top 5 spots in the Mountain West.
Oh, and foul a 3-point shooter with 1.1 left. Still a 6-point game. And Junior Ballard will head to the line. But you know, being around this conference, one of the things that the other coaches, I'm sure, are dreading is a UNLV team that puts it all together at the end of the year, because it's pretty dangerous. They have talent, a lot of Power 5 transfers.
They have a lot of firepower. And even a young man like Donovan Williams, who, you know, is a little bit off as he comes back from injury. I think when he gets going and he returns to form, you said it, Chris. There's a lot to play for in this league. There's some really good teams. That tournament in the Mountain West, that's going to be much watched television.
And it's on their home court. Timeout, Fresno State. The free throws drop with 1.1 left. Got to get a steal and a 3.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to come by with 1.1. You have to be very careful. You can't throw a 50-50 ball like they did before. Again, I just think give somebody a lot more space. And herein, you might be able to post up one of your taller guys or just throw it long and get a touch on it, you know, just so that the clock starts running.
You throw it down, have a bunch of players around the opposite three-point line, that even if things go wrong, UNLV or Fresno State would have hit a full-court shot.
I'm giving away my playbook, but I love 4 long, the half-court line, send a couple guys long, and then 1 or 2 of my best free throw shooters with plenty of space to get open in the backcourt. That's what I love to do. I'm sure Coach Kruger has something cooked up, and then Coach Hudson, he's thinking about face guard everybody. As you said, we're probably going to give up stuff going long over the top, try to come up with something and shoot a desperation 3.
No timeouts either side. Fresno State looking to avoid the 3 straight losses for the first time this year. The score holds, it would be their 4th Mountain West loss by 5 points or fewer. Just the slimmest margin for error in the Mountain West.
Think of some of those easier shots closer to the rim, although he had to finish through contact that Orlando Robinson couldn't get down. 1 or 2 of those could have easily been the difference to help the Bulldogs.
Fresno State needs a steal and a 3. UNLV just needs to get this one in cleanly. No timeouts on either side. McCabe to trigger it in. Goes long. Hand there. Makes the catch. Don't count the bucket. It doesn't matter. UNLV goes on the road and knocks off Fresno State 60-57. What a win for Kevin Kruger and company.
This could be the start of something exciting for UNLV. You look at their schedule, they've got big games to play for, and to get a road win, that'll give you a ton of momentum and good feeling.
UNLV has leapfrogged in the 5th. They still have games against Colorado State, Wyoming, and Boise State on their schedule.
Yeah, I think the big dogs got to look in the mirror there, in the rearview mirror, as UNLV is starting to play better, heating up from the 3-point line, blending all kinds of new pieces. It's going to be interesting in the Mountain West down the stretch.
UNLV, Fresno State split the season series with the Rebels winning here on the road. For Sydney Johnson and our entire CBS Sports crew, I'm Chris Lewis. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. We now send you to Adam and the gang in our New York studio for Inside College Basketball.